Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to call the December 1st special meeting of Narberth Borough Council to order. Ready? You want to listen to the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, if we call the roll.
Yes. President Bush?
Here.
Vice President Rickards? Here. Councilmember Winston?
Here.
Councilmember Brock?
Here.
Councilmember Gaudini?
Here.
Councilmember Spear?
Here.
Councilmember Simonson?
Here.
And Mayor Andrea Deutsch?
Yeah.
All right, so this is a special meeting. It is just called in order for us to meet certain state deadlines with regard to the EIT. In the past, we have been slightly off in our timing on our EIT votes, and this has caused the EIT to be at different rates in January than for the rest of the year, and it's caused some administrative problems. So this year we've done some research, figured out exactly what the deadlines are, and we set up this special meeting in order that the rate change for the EIT will take effect as of January 1st. So I see that our solicitor, John Walco, is on the call. So, John, do you want to summarize the legal... There's some question about our legal advertising. So do you want to summarize the advertising we did and the steps we took to make sure this is a legal public meeting?
Yes, there's actually 3 advertisements that were done, which most people wouldn't do it that way, but we were extra careful to do 3 advertisements. One of the advertisements, which ran 3 times in the last 3 Mondays, was the advertisement for the EIT increase special notice of that increase itself. So again, increasing it to that 1%. So that was one ad that was advertised in the Times Herald paper on the last 3 Mondays. The second ad was the ad for this special meeting itself, like you would for any other meeting. And that was the advertisement advising the public of this special meeting because it was not originally scheduled at the beginning of the year, which was run, I believe, last Monday as well. Then there was a third advertisement, which was for the ordinance itself, just like you would to advertise any ordinance, which was the EIT increase ordinance. And notably, the December date and the ordinance was referenced also in the advertisement that ran 3 times separately. So this meeting, the ordinance, and the intent within that ordinance to raise the EIT was all advertised accordingly with the requirements. The odd one is that 3-time advertisement of the notice of intent to raise that EIT in addition to everything else that was done. So those were all done. The ordinance was submitted to the law library as well. So the ordinance and the ability to raise the EIT and this meeting was all done according to laws and the Sunshine Act.
All right, and I'll point out that we're in a public meeting right now. We do have a member of the public attending this meeting. This is a topic that we had discussed at multiple public meetings. We've had extensive discussion of the merits of an EIT raise at multiple public meetings, and we had an initial vote to advertise the ordinance at our last business meeting. So it's had a lot of public discussion here in council. And just to summarize some of those points, we are raising the EIT in order to provide for further infrastructure improvements in the coming years. Our capital improvement plan has a number of very high budget items, and the capital improvement plan does not have a dedicated revenue source. So this tax increase will provide our capital projects with enough funding for us to proceed along the time scale that our staff has laid out at many public meetings. And I personally believe the EIT is the right tax to increase right now, simply because a lot of the money that will be raised by this tax increase is already being paid by Narberth residents to other municipalities. This has been said before, but if you're working in a municipality that has an EIT right now, some of that money is going to that other municipality. With Narberth raising our EIT to 1% to match the overwhelming majority of municipalities in PA, that money will instead be returning to Narberth. I think that's it for my comments. Mayor Deutsch?
I don't have any particular comments for this subject.
All right.
Or at this time.
Okay,
Once
thank you.
we go into the motion, we'll have something to say.
Okay. We'll now entertain public comment. As a reminder, we only have one item of business on our agenda, so we would encourage you to limit public comment to the topics on the agenda. However, you'll have 3 minutes, and please give your name and address if you wish to make public comment. Start in the room. Wish to make public comment? No? Anybody online wish to make a public comment? I can't tell who's online. Besides John. Looks like we have at least one member of the public online. Do you wish to make a public comment? If so, unmute yourself and make your public comment. All right. Seeing no public comment, I am going to declare public comment period closed. We'll move on to our one item of business.
I move that Borough Council adopt ordinance 1067, increasing the earned income tax from 0.75% to 1%.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Mayor Deutsch, you want to go first?
Sure. I've been very clear in my thoughts about this raise, that I would have much more preferred a millage increase, as I think it's for the benefit of everybody in the borough. The improvements are for everybody's benefit, and I think rather than going back to the same well over and over again, I think it would have been a much more appropriate tax to tax property owners, as it theoretically increases the value of their property. Normally, if this were in the middle of the year, or I would consider a veto of this ordinance because of my strong feelings on this subject. I can tell, as from prior discussions, that my veto would have been overruled because the majority of this borough council agrees with it. In the interest of not messing up everybody's finances and if I veto it, it won't go into effect until July 1st of this year, making it much more complicated for everybody to do their taxes and figure it out. So in the interest of not causing confusion to the general public, and in knowing that this is going to pass anyway, I will not veto it to keep it simple for the public. The timing of a veto would have been very disruptive, and in the interest of not doing that, and it would not have accomplished what I would have hoped it would have accomplished. So I will not veto it. There was a comment made at one of our meetings that people who've not paid this tax at 1% have gotten away with it. And without going into who said what when, I want to make it quite clear that I disagree with this comment extremely. There is nobody who's gotten away with a tax that was never implemented in the first place. The term "got away with it" implies a punitive action, a punitive nature of taxing people in the borough, and I fundamentally disagree with that thought on taxing people as a punitive action. I feel that is wrong. I disagree with that sentiment, and I want to make it quite clear that I don't believe anybody's gotten away with anything. There is nothing to get away with. And so I fundamentally disagree with that. I also want to correct President Bush's thing that most people are paying it to other municipalities. The people who are paying it to other municipalities that we are recapturing is 1/3 of the public. 2/3 of the public, it is a new tax to those who are paying it. So it's not the majority, it's not even half, it's 1/3. And I want to make that clear that I don't think that's an accurate representation of who's being affected by this. So I will end up signing it. I am not happy about it, but I see where the chips are falling. So in order to not disrupt everybody's taxes next year, I will sign it. But those are my thoughts.
I think we all appreciate your willingness to make it easier on the Narberth residents by not vetoing the legislation. And I apologize if I misspoke during my initial statement. I know those numbers, and that was not what I was trying to express. Anyway, thank you, Mayor Deutsch. And I'll also add that I hope none of us view this tax as a punishment. Taxes are necessary in order to fund borough government, fund all of the amenities that the borough provides, the streets, the parks, police, fire department, just the basic services that the borough provides. And just try to find the most efficient way to provide those services with the taxes that we take in. Thank you, Mayor Deutsch. Anybody else wish to speak?
Sure. So I want everyone to know that I really do respect the need for funding the CIP, the capital improvement plan, and I respect the need to raise taxes by this much to do it, and it seems appropriate. But I'm just not a fan of the EIT for a couple of reasons. The mayor has stated today and in the past. I think I'm just not a fan of the tool that the state gives us. It's just not flexible enough. It's a flat tax. It taxes wages. It doesn't tax, income from capital or rent. In that way, it's not a tax on people who can afford it, necessarily. I don't feel like it's a case that people who haven't been paying the tax before have been, getting off without paying it, because people who work in those municipalities, the pressures to raise their wages, it's just common sense that the employers will eat some of this. If it were a statewide thing that everybody did, I think I would accept this a little more, it's just sort of a fact of life. But I think we haven't thought enough about our economic landscape with Lower Merion, where, we can't get away from the fact that they don't have this, we do, and we're sort of fundamentally, possibly changing the kind of people who might choose to live here in the future or do business here in the future, because it's more expensive now, to do that. And I feel like our business district is in transition already, and they're, I don't want to give people that kind of disincentive to, live and do business here. But I want you all to know that I really respect your comments. I've talked to a lot of you individually, and thanks for all the advice you've given me about it. I know it doesn't really matter which way I vote, because I think I would probably be the only no vote. So I think I would have to respectfully submit a no vote on this.
It's difficult often to be the single no vote, but I do not think that council unanimity is something that is required, or something that even is a big factor. So feel free to vote your conscience, as always.
Absolutely.
All right.
So from the perspective of a Narberth taxpayer, when they look at their tax bill, for next year, they're going to see this tax if they're due it, but they're also going to see probably a 4% increase in their school district tax, which is actually more like a higher percentage of their overall tax dollar. I think it's like 69%, something like that, of the tax dollars. So in some ways, from the perspective of the homeowner, resident, this is a hybrid increase, not a pure increase in the EIT. I realize that money doesn't go to the borough, but from the perspective of the home of the taxpayer, I mean, it doesn't matter to them, they just know that their tax bill is going up.
Yeah.
So it's not a pure, we don't have the ability to make it a pure VAT increase.
Yeah. Just for clarity, the school district, has the right to tax as well, so they tax through millage, and that rate typically goes up every year, and theirs is substantially more than the boroughs, so you will be seeing a higher rate for the Lower Merion School District as well, just out of our control. Anybody else wish to make comments?
I think I appreciate the soul searching that y'all have both done on it, that it's hard. I think we all agree on the need to fund that capital improvements plan, and I think that that's the message that I would kind of communicate to folks, is that we take seriously the need to invest in our infrastructure, and there's been obviously like a variety of thoughts shared on the best way to get to that, and I think I've been clear from the beginning that if there was interest in doing the millage, I would down with the millage. If the interest was the EIT, I was down with the EIT for us to get to the overall goal, and appreciate that it's also hard, like Fred said, it's hard to be on the losing end of a vote, and in a legislative body, an executive branch, I appreciate the soul searching that y'all have done, the great thought with which y'all have approached this. Also just being upfront about, where you're coming from, what your values are. So definitely acknowledge, seen, appreciated.
I will further point out that the legal cap on EIT for most municipalities is 1%. So this is the
Last straw.
this is the furthest that it will be raised in Narberth, apart from unusual circumstances which are unlikely to happen. So this should be sufficient for the near future in terms of providing for the tax needs. But should there be needs in the future, they would be satisfied by millage increases.
I also want to say I appreciate all of the discussions that we've had one-on-one with each other about this. I don't think it was very cut and dry, and as a household that was also impacted by the EIT, we will be paying more. So I can appreciate that, it's for some households it's a bigger impact than others, but at the same time, like I said before, after looking at the whole analysis of it, I do think the benefits of the EIT outweigh some of the concerns that were expressed about it. So I support the EIT.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Let's vote on the item in front of us. So voting on ordinance 1067, increasing the EIT from 0.75 to 1%. All those in favor? Okay, opposed? Mr. Spears opposed. Passes 6-1. Thank you, everyone. That is our only consideration item. New business, old business, comments for the good of council. Okay, I will take a motion to adjourn. There will be no executive session after the meeting.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adjournment? Okay.
Kim wants to stick around.
This meeting is adjourned.